So here's page 2 of the review, number 12. Find the measures of the angles. We know this is a isosceles trapezoid because you have the two markers there telling you they're congruent. So that means that angle A and angle B are congruent, and angle D and angle C are congruent. So what is angle B going to be? 108. Now, to get C and D, you could add them up, subtract from 360, but because it's a quadrilateral and all four angles have to add to 360, the angle from the top and one from the bottom will actually be supplementary. So you could do this easier by simply doing 180 minus 108, which is 72. And that'll be true for C and D. Number 13, given a kite, you have to find the measure of KIT and the measure of angle IKE. In a kite, that angle EB 90 degrees, the one across from that is congruent. So this is also 90 degrees here. KIT, if you follow the letters, is what they're asking for. So that's 90 degrees. IKE is this angle at the bottom. Right. Now, obviously because these two angles are 90 degrees, you know it's 180, and that means the other two would have to be 180, but it doesn't always work out so easy. So normally, just so we're on the same page, you would add the three angles you have and subtract from 360. It just so happens that this one is a little bit easier because of the 90s, which make 180. Number 14, what is the most specific name for the following? Now, a couple things here though. It is a rectangle, but it's not just because it looks really close to a rectangle. Because of the markings on the diagonals, it tells you that that diagonal is congruent to that diagonal, and that's true for a rectangle. Now, because it's true for a rectangle, it would be true for a square, but there's nothing else in this shape that would tell you it's a square, just that you can go as far as it's a rectangle. All right. The next one, what is this? Right, and it is isosceles because you have those two congruent base angles. Right. Well, that's what makes it the trapezoid. And then the reason you know it's more than just a regular trapezoid, of course. Regular trapezoid just has the two parallel bases. You wouldn't know that the angles match. This is what? Right. So again, you have, similar to the first one, you do have those diagonals congruent, and then you have the 90 degrees in the middle. The rhombus does not have the congruent diagonals, so you know it has to be the square. So for 15, this is actually like question number 1 on the front if y'all started it. It's just it has a picture this time. There's several ways to find an interior or an exterior angle, but what should the exterior and the interior do together? Add up to 180. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start by finding the interior angle. How many sides does this have? And on your paper, they have the dashes too, so you know it's regular. So you're going to do 6 minus 2 times 180. That gives you 720. That's all 6 angles added together. If I want to find one, divided by 6. So given that, to find the exterior, I'm going to do 180 minus 120, which of course is 60. Now, the last one says explain how you could find x. On the test, there is going to be a question that asks you to kind of justify your reasoning or explain your answer. So you will have to be able to put into words what you're doing here, but let's look at the math of it first. You have a triangle and a quadrilateral connected at an angle. Obviously, what you want to do first is find this angle of the triangle by adding the two you have and subtracting that from 180.
And then the other angle will be the same, right?
Why would this angle be the same?
I don't know.
Vertical, right. Yeah, vertical angles where lines cross. So now you have three angles in a quadrilateral. They're supposed to equal 360. So you add them up. 40. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 245.
6 divided by 72 is 120.
And x is 15. Yes.